this package, Akwa Ibom State government restated commitment to collaborate with international agencies to reduce the prevalence of HIV. 2016 Annual Bilateral Discussion Coordination Committee inaugurated. In Nigeria and Cameroon to strengthen diplomatic relationship to fight Boko Haram. Details of these and more in a moment. A very beautiful morning to you. This is AKBC 45 News at Dawn. I am Agnes Udo King Brown. International health organizations and agencies have promised to collaborate with the Akwa Ibom State government to reduce the prevalence of human immune virus HIV and other diseases which affects women and children. The promise was made when members of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Association for Reproductive and Family Health, ARFH, and Family Health International paid a courtesy visit on the Deputy Governor, Mr. Moses Ekpo. Patience John has the details.
The Deputy Governor, Mr. Moses Ekpo, who received the representatives of the agencies in his office, reiterated the state government's readiness to support programs that will have positive effects on the lives of the citizens. Mr. Ekpo thanked the international partners for their contributions over the years in the fight against HIV in the state, but called on them to increase funding in order to cover more areas. The Deputy Governor explained that the present administration under Mr. Dom Emmanuel was committed to providing health care facilities and assistance to committed partners to make the program succeed in the state. He regretted the prevalence of HIV in the state and sued for greater collaboration to fight the menace.
It is not very comforting to hear from real statistics that we are where we are in the life. I want to reassure you that government will not be taking these revelations lightly. We are not well. You cannot leave. If you don't leave, you don't have life. There is no development. And so any efforts like yours that will come to supplement our own efforts in getting to the kind of goals we have set for ourselves is most welcome.
The team leader of USAID, Dr. Susan Coleman, said they were in the state to intimate the state government of their programs for children, orphans, and families who have been impoverished as a result of HIV infection. She said the United States of America in the past 10 years have been assisting the state in different health programs, and that currently 5 local government areas, along with other local government areas in the country, have been chosen to benefit from the organization's program.
Our last great effort to get the epidemic under control in at least a limited area. Control of the epidemic means that at least 80% of the people that need to be on medicine, that need to take drugs that are HIV positive, are on medicine. 80%.
The state's program manager, Family Health International 360, Dr. Frank Eyam, and Dr. Yabode Olusanmi of Association for Reproduction and Family Health said the organizations have the objectives to promote family health through advocacy, tests for HIV, mentoring and reports of child abuse under the local partners for orphans and vulnerable children, LOPIN. The promise to reach out to Akwa Ibom citizens to sensitize them on dangers of HIV as one way of reducing the prevalence of the HIV scourge in the state.
And through the work we've done in the few years, if you look at the NAV survey now, we're talking about a prevalence dropping to 6.5. It's all for the work that we've been doing. We actually came to this state and took over the burden of HIV when it was like 12.5 prevalence rate. We are.
And we are going to be doing this by ensuring that there's other people, that are doing this work so that we complement each other. other than basic efforts.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Mrs. Cecilia Inyang, said the state is one of the beneficiaries of Global Fund in partnership with UNICEF and other agencies, which has been used to better the lot of orphans and vulnerable children. Patience John, reporting.
The 2016 Annual Bilateral Discussion Coordination Committee has been inaugurated in Uyo. It has the Commissioner of Economic Development, Dr. Manuel Udoka, as chairman, and the Reverend Yabia as secretary. The members are the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Dr. Gloria De, Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Kan Okun, and the Permanent Secretary, Budget Office, Pastor Nicholas Ekarika. Others are the State Accountant General, Sai Udoy Sobara, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Economic Development, Elder Jacob Omana, the Director of Statistics in the Ministry of Economic Development, Mr. Emmanuel Essien, and the Director of Planning, Mr. Msudo. Addressing members of the committee, the Chairman, Dr. Emmanuel Uwediokat, charged them to bring the experience in their different levels to bear in the drafting of an estimate that will help to actualize the 5-point agenda of the present administration. He stressed the need for the committee to focus not only on expenditure but also on revenue generation plans of the various ministries, departments and agencies, as well as programs essential for the smooth take-off of the industrialization program of Mr. Domi Manuel's administration. The Commission underscored the need for members of the committee to be strategic and aim at projects and programs that will better the lots of the people. Dr. Uwedioka decried the attitude of passing bloated budget by ministries, departments and agencies, admonished the committee to be more realistic in their projections and 2016 estimates to ensure synergy in order to avoid duplication and wastages. A member of the committee and permanent secretary in the Ministry of Economic Development, Elder Jacob Omana, in his comments pledged the commitment of the ministry to continue to guide institutions for the growth and development of the state. Elder Omana noted that the 2016 bilateral discussion will go a long way to determine the pace of fulfillment of the industrialization dream of the Dr. Emmanuel's administration. He promised that the committee will be fair to ministries, departments and agencies. Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Mr. Matthew Ekaite, reiterated the commitment of his ministry to work hard to improve agriculture in the state. Addressing stakeholders in agricultural value chain in Uyo Senatorial District, Mr. Ekaite said this would be achieved through well-thought-out, people-oriented policies. He was speaking at one day after his meeting with stakeholders in agriculture in the Ekiti Senatorial District. Olubayo Akindele reports.
The commissioner said that government will no longer identify with individual farmers, but groups and associations. Mr. Ekaite said that the representatives of such groups will henceforth relate with the ministry on matters affecting their various organizations. He said that farmers across the Uyo Senatorial District will be given adequate information and education through capacity building. He urged the farmers to work hard to broaden their source of income by investing in other areas of agriculture other than the ones they specialize in.
Knowledge. So we are going to impart knowledge into you so that you can use it and create wealth. It's not just putting money in your pocket. When you put money in the bank, that money you can call yourself and say, I'm not poor, because you have money in the bank. But you are not wealthy.
The permanent secretary in the ministry, Dr. Ekong Efyung, appealed to the farmers to always pay back loans given them so that others can benefit from the program.
The present government and our significant importance to agriculture. And that is why our commissioner, I will get as you do, I will award in I think going on face to face. But the way forward, I can go on the chat.
The chairman of Uyo Local Government Transition Committee, Dr. Grace Epo, represented by the secretary, Elder Imo Okon, commended the government and asked that more attention be paid to the local government areas with good potentials. She urged the farmers to double their efforts in food production.
Marion Kutogo no Yen get the oxygen for Kwai State and Kebi Bo the Minister of Agriculture. In less than no time, he has been able to hit the ground running.
Those who also spoke during the meeting were directors in the different units in the ministry who educate the farmers on the readiness of the government to assist them.
I think we form a cooperative. Now within that cooperative will be able to care about what the world also economic within that locality, within that cooperative.
In terms of fingerling production, it hasn't been much of a problem. We have succumbed it. We have a lot of fish hatcheries in the state. They produce a quality fingerling which can supply to all our fish farms.
Olubayo Akindele reporting.
Students in higher institutions of learning have been advised to make excellence, quality and integrity the watchword if they must succeed in life. The Commissioner of Economic Development, Dr. Emmanuel Whitaker, gave advice when he hosted members of the National Association of Reform Students, University of U chapter. Dr. Whitaker told the students he is a strong believer in excellence and hard work and enjoined them to build their foundation on seriousness and integrity in order to be found worthy in character and learning. He promised to represent them well but warned against indulging in examination malpractices and cultism. The Commissioner, while appreciating the students for the visit, promised to give scholarship to any first-class student from the area, as well as support the indigent ones. The President of the National Association of Reform Students, University of U chapter, Mr. Basi Brian Edem, had congratulated Dr. Whitaker on his appointment as Commissioner and hoped that he will bring his experience to bear on his new assignments. Mr. Basedam said the visit was to intimate the Commissioner of the activities and programs of the association and solicited his support for an upcoming seminar to be organized by the organization with the theme Shun Cultism and Examination Malpractices. The AKBC television channel 45 has resumed normal terrestrial transmission after about 1 month of break. The station resumed transmission at about 5 p.m. yesterday when engineers working on the transmitter successfully fixed the part which had been given problems. Viewers are therefore advised to tune to channel 45, while owners of StarTimes are also advised to stay on with station on channel 113. The management of AKBC thanks the public for bearing with it during the break and appeal for continuous patronage. More news after the break. Stay with us.
It's up to us, all of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land. Let us protect her as we protect each other. Report any criminal activity. Call these numbers. Your call is anonymous, and it is vitally important. Your support so far has been critical. Continuing it will make all the difference between a Nigeria of the fearful and a Nigeria of the free. Protect each other, for we are not terrorists. We are Nigerians. A message from the State Security Service.
You're welcome back. The maiden graduation of the BRICS Academy Montessori, Plot 25 Unit J, Sam Adams Street, in Itiam and Young Housing Estate, UU, has been held on the school's premises. The ceremony, which heralded the movement of the kindergarten pupils to the class referred to by the school's management as first grade, was attended by parents and friends of the graduating pupils. Yana Paul completes the story.
Briggs Academy Montessori preschool and teen school year spellings, phonetics, pronunciation, punctuation, neatness, diction, most friendly pupil, group works, best first grade pupil, homework, as well as the most coordinated pupil. Other prizes were presented to most proficiency pupil, happy helper, and best pupil in mathematics, English, and general studies. High points of the event was the induction of the graduating class into the first grade.
Good afternoon. Hereby pledge
to be a good,
to be a good, obedient, hardworking, and abiding, by so help me God. I have to shake your pledge to be a good, obedient, hardworking.
Hearing of Paul reporting.
For everything there is a time to come in and a time to go out, a time to play and a time to sing, a time to sleep and a time to wake up. There is time for work and a time to rest. You go on and on and on. For Mr. Felix Okum, Deputy Director and Head of Reportorial in the television section of the Private Broadcasting Corporation, it is time to bow out after 35 years of meritorious service to the state. Felix John Okum joined the AKBC in 1991 as a translator after serving as a teacher in many capacities. Listen to young Paul as she tells more about Felix's time in AKBC.
Born on Saturday, 18th of February 1956, Mr. Felix John Okum was educated in Patrick's Catholic School, Ikotum, Itumbonuzo, at Holy Family College, where he obtained his West African School certificate. Felix attended the then College of Education, Uyo, and later the University of Calabar. After graduating, Felix served his fatherland, Nigeria, under the National Youth Service Corps in 1985. He had his first appointment as a primary school teacher and was posted to Amamo, Itumbunuso, and after a period he was transferred to Dorikono Secondary School, Mbiabongi Korodofia, in a local government area. Felix John Okum also taught at Immaculate Conception Secondary School, Itak, between 1989 and 1991. In 1991, this great English teacher and a disciplinarian switched over to broadcasting under transfer of service and worked with the Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation, AKBC, as a translator in Itumbunuso dialect.
I joined AKBC because there was a need during Nkanga's administration that the news bulletin had to be translated into different dialects in Akwa Ibom states. And it was advertised in a newspaper in Pioneer. I saw it. Somebody sent it to me. That time I was teaching at Immaculate Conception Secondary School, Itak. And I read it. I applied. Because I was leaving, I was fed up with what I was doing. It has been good. Very, very good. Because if I had remained in the classroom, the exposure I have had in AKBC, I wouldn't have had it. I'm very, very grateful for that.
Barely 5 days after his assumption as a translator, Felix Okum was put on air on the 5th of June 1991 to translate vernacular version of the AKBC television news.
So that's how I came. I came as a translator in Itumbunuso, and I did my best to keep my audience informed, because my target audience was our people in the village.
His penchant to learn and succeed made him to take part in journalism with the NIJ, a qualification which made him a reporter with the corporation. He served under general managers and director generals, including the late Obong Sebong, Dr. Mbungbo, Mercio too, among others. From a reporter, Felix rose to become the manager news, assistant deputy director, and the deputy director news, the position he held till his retirement. If it is true that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, what were those moments that Felix hated the job?
Closing late, and the risks, it was risky, very, very risky. And sometimes I had to drive alone on Uyo Village Road to bring the tape to the station for airing by 6 a.m. It was challenging and risky.
Felix speaks about his best moment in the newsroom, his regrets and relationship with his colleagues, and his future plans.
My best moments, each time the governor wanted to see us, the government house press corps. That was how we looked at the governor. We sat closer to the governor, and you know that kind of a thing now. To meet people like you, it has been a closely knit family. In fact, after my family and the church, AKBC Newsroom is the next point, the next port of call. Because in the newsroom, the way I met them at what we used to call Barracks Road End, it was right from there I developed interest. So my first port of call is to go back to the church and get my spiritual life well nourished, because I starved my spirit. And that's my first port of call. Outside that, in fact, for now, I'm making plans to go to a Bible college.
According to Director News and Current Affairs Comfort Umana, Felix was a man of many parts who never failed to do his job well.
Since that Felix pays serious attention to grammar and construction in the news. As a head of reportorial, and he was in AKBC television newsroom. Anyway, he was there for me when it comes to training of the students and industrial attachments. I watch him with admiration, but I didn't tell him this, because if I tell him, he will puff up.
One thing the director said was that Felix will be missed greatly in the newsroom.
With the trainees, he was there for me when it comes to training those languages. I will really miss him on that. I will miss his song, weekends and public holidays. When he's on duty, at the heat of production, he'll be singing one choir or the other while moving from the newsroom to a meeting room along the corridor. I was sitting in the office. I will enjoy the song. Those are the things I will do.
Chris Ikboto, Deputy Director and Head Television News, said Felix is more of a friend than a colleague.
We discuss personal issues with Felix. We advise ourselves on certain issues. We've been friends.
In all, Felix colleagues, Sam Monday, Udwarekong, Florence Umoituk, Ima Basetuk, and those in the radio service, Sir Godwin Okun and Dede Demekban, described Felix thus. Some of them said their relationships were cordial, while others noted that they will miss Felix's sense of humor and teaching.
His tenure, he gave a good account of himself, both as a translator, a good representative of his people.
So you can count on Felix anytime for something he believes in. And he will do it without back, and sometimes without looking for them.
I miss Mr. Felix's humor, his friendliness, his, should I call it lousiness sometimes? Yeah, and his ability to correct you.
So I'm going to miss him, because at times he could be very verbal, and there's no dull moments when he's around. But I'm happy he's living in good health,
I'm happy he's living with all his faculties intact.
Felix happened to be my colleague in his Sunday school classmate, and also a colleague in the AKBC. I really feel about his retirement. I wish he could reverse it.
And my relationship with him so far has been a very wonderful and tremendous one. He's a good teacher, he's a father, and also a brother.
It is fun to stay with Felix, as he has nicknames for almost all his colleagues.
Like you, I call you Nukwise. Like Patience John, which was a Benefia, so I call her a Benefia. Although I go is Augusta is a Yenaman. Comfort is a Rara. Tom Monday is Ndrafai. Ibuto, I call that one Ijam Ikorabia. Celeste Neguere is Ikorari. You know, you come from one village quite close to. You come from Dia. So I call him Ikorari. And the rest of them.
While working as an editor, Felix edited, proofread, aligned news, ensured a smooth production with his production editor at the editing suite, and sometimes stayed behind till the news was on air. Married to Ofonime with 3 children, Freka Basi, Wangfon and Dunyemebong, Felix's hobbies include singing, writing, reading, and playing volleyball, while his favorite colors are blue, green, and pink. As an assistant pastor of Life Gate Dominion Church, Uyo, Mr. Felix Okum likes truthfulness, honesty, and hard work. He dislikes fraud, laziness, as well as incompetence. Felix's last editorial duty was on Tuesday, July 28, 2015, while he will officially bow out of service on August 1, 2015.
Well, like they say, rest is sweet after labor. Mr. Felix Okum, as we've heard, has put in his best to the service of the state, and now he is retiring home to rest. AKBC family will miss him. I personally will miss him, because there will be no other person in this corporation to call me Ndukwese. What we now pray is for God to continue to elevate him from glory to glory. Iyare reporting.
Congratulations, Sir Jolly Goodfellow, Felix Okum. Efforts to revitalize diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Cameroon to fight a common enemy threatening territorial integrity of both countries, as well as other neighbors, are underway. This is coming on the heels of Cameroon's recent deployment of an extra 2,000 troops along its northern border with Nigeria to fight Boko Haram. In a statement from presidential spokesman Shehu Garba, the new strategies evolved in the anti-terrorism war is such that will not recognize international boundaries. Shehu said that terrorists from any part of the region will be chased to any location in the regional force resolved to end terrorism. A former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Sir Sridhar Ramphal, has described as promising the administration of President Muhammad Buhari. Ramphal recently made remarks while speaking with State House correspondents after an audience with the president. He praises the length to be back in Nigeria, whose achievements and contributions, all he said, were encouraging. In his words, he said, "What I do know is that from Nigeria, this continent and the rest of the developing world expect leadership, and we are confident that we will find that." The former Commonwealth wife also spoke glowingly of his chief successor, Chief Emeka Yaku, whom he called a dependable partner to the Commonwealth's glorious achievements. South Africa cleric and 1984 Nobel Peace Prize Award recipient Archbishop Desmond Tutu has returned to hospital. Tutu is down with what has been described as persistent infection, which his foundation says unrelated to the prostate cancer he has been suffering for 15 years. He was reportedly discharged from hospital a week ago, but his health seems to be deteriorating, causing him to cancel his trip to Europe. That's on a package. You can also watch it KBC TV News online. by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at akbc45eu or on Facebook at akbcchild45. Before we go, a look at the major stories. International health organizations and agencies have promised to collaborate with the state government to reduce the prevalence of human immune virus, HIV, that diseases which affect women and children. The promise was made when members of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Association for Reproductive and Family Health, ARFH, and Family Health International, because the verse on the deputy government, Mr. Moses Ekpo. That's in the package, and that bulletin comes up at 11. Until then, see you on Nigeria programs. Very good morning to you.